Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of Skipworthy Cinema. We are the SideQuest guys, Cody and Dallin, and my beautiful wife, Amanda, who's joining us for this episode. Thanks for joining us, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Hi, Amanda here. I'm super excited to join you.
This is gonna be so good. Okay, so if you're new to this podcast, which everyone is because it's a new podcast.
I'm new to this podcast, so
basically what we're doing is we are watching the worst movies out there. We're gonna
worst
find
of the worst,
the bottom of the barrel, and we're gonna watch all of them, and we are going to talk about them together. It's like book club. So hopefully you've already seen Cats, which is the movie we're doing today. But if you haven't, that's okay. You'll still, it's just a big, major spoiler, but it's a win-win because if you hear the plot, then you don't have to watch it.
Yeah,
So
we'll
it's
be
a
doing
win-win.
spoilers here. So if you care for anything, which I don't know why you would care at all
You
for
should
the
not
plot
care.
of this musical, don't listen. But I mean, it's been a musical for forever. It's been out there for forever. If you know anything about it, nothing's going to be surprising except
Exactly.
for just
So
our thoughts on it.
So basically, if you don't know about this movie, this is a musical written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now, he's the guy that wrote Phantom of the Opera. So he's got some.
Told me that.
He's got some wins. He actually also.
Do you not
wrote,
like Phantom of the Opera?
No, you shouldn't have told me that he made something as wonderful as Phantom of the
Oh,
Opera.
I was like,
and then created something like this monstrosity. That's what this is.
He also wrote the music for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
See, it doesn't make. Well, everyone's got their losses.
He has a lot of weird. This is the thing. Okay, before we do anything here, you need to know something about Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's a very odd man. He not only did he write a whole musical about cats, he wrote a whole musical about trains where everyone plays a freaking train. That is true.
Weird.
And when they do it, they're on roller skates. It's called Starlight Express. It's also very weird. The thing about
wasn't there an episode about that on the Goldbergs?
I think there was. Yeah, they mentioned it.
Everyone has their
I think I've
highs,
seen an episode of
and
that on the
everyone
Goldbergs.
has their lows.
So this is definitely it's weird to begin with, but then the movie execution is a whole other thing. We'll talk about all of this today on. I forgot the name of our podcast. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing.
Skipworthy
Cinema. Okay.
See how we're new. We don't even understand.
We are brand new. This is episode 1, so you got to cut us some slack. So this is 2009. This is a 2019 movie.
Could have fooled me that it wasn't a 2020 film because it was a disaster like everything else this year.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So basically, the general plot. Let's talk about the general plot. So I have no idea what the heck was going on. I was watching really closely because I wanted to make sure I knew what was going on. And so tell me if I'm even in the ballpark here, okay? So this cat gets dropped off, abandoned by her owners, right? And
oh yeah, because of the big human feet and the
right,
the
the
sack being
gigantic
tossed
human
into
feet.
the road.
Obviously, but then she finds a random ragtag group of cats called the Jellicles, which is a very odd word.
Okay, can I just be honest? I had no idea what the Jellicles was supposed to mean the entire time we were watching this. And so
I don't know how you missed that.
So
there is a big
the whole
flaw,
time I was writing down things that I thought were absolutely hysterical or really weird or something. And the whole time I was trying so hard to follow what the heck everyone was talking about. And they kept on saying the Jellicles. And I was like, is this a vocabulary word that I don't know?
No, it means nothing. It means nothing. So if I understand, so the Jellicles are this group that are just kind of a misfit cats.
Misfits, stray cats, kind of their own little family.
And they are banded together. They're trying to watch out for each other.
See, this is what's funny is this both of us, we can say that we've both enjoyed musicals. We've been a part of musicals.
Yeah, I'm a big drama guy. Yeah.
I have never seen Cats. I've never had any interest. My only knowledge of Cats literally is that I knew that the show's about cats and the song Memory. Literally, that's the only thing I really knew about was the song Memory. And so literally when going into this, I had no knowledge of this plot, no knowledge of this musical. And I still came out with it not knowing anything about this musical or anything about the plot or the story because it's just that freaking wacky.
So anyway, so there's the Jellicles, right? But then it gets even weirder because then they go, okay, we're going to choose one cat that's the most worthy cat.
To go to the afterlife.
What is that even supposed to mean? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We were trying to figure that out too.
This is the part that I do not understand. So we'll talk about this later, obviously, at the end. But what in the heck happens? Like, is it the point is you die and you go to the real? Is the real point that we're supposed to like figure that out, or did I just?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in
miss it?
the end, the lady was like, "You know what this means? Like, if you
Yeah,
watch
she looks-
this, you know
she
what
goes-
this means." And she's like staring right into the camera. Yeah, so it was like so weird. And then
Yep.
and then the cat just floats away, and then like glows
In a hot air
and-
balloon with the
What?
chandelier under it.
Well, honestly, I'm just like, yeah, do they die and they just become reincarnated to the perfect? Because it's like you get an extra life, but it's the most glorious and happy life.
Well, and they said that what's her name, Deuteronomy. They
Yeah.
said that she lived 99 lives, and so like,
Oh yeah,
but like that's why I'm so okay.
I don't
We gotta backtrack a little bit.
yeah.
We're like at the very end already. So first, you dive in with this in the part where they're abandoning her. It's like this dramatic,
Okay,
sad
but I
thing.
have to interject and say one thing. The very first like tunes that came
Hey,
on.
that's what I was about to say.
Oh yeah.
But so that's what I was saying. So it's this really dramatic, sad thing. They're abandoning a cat in a bag.
I
and
don't
then-
care. I don't care. The first 30 seconds, I messaged Cody and I said, I hate this film. I heard the music. I saw the freaking cats walking in. I'm like, I hate this.
But this is a
Film.
perfect time. This is a perfect
hate
time to
this
bring this
film.
up.
Like literally,
Yeah.
But I kid you not. I think it's the least. This is the film I least like ever. Like I hate this film.
Really? Ever?
I think this is the worst film I've ever seen.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm with you there.
I'm
Oh.
very opinionated when it comes to films. Anyone that knows me, they hate talking to me about movies because it's not like, oh, did you like it? Well, I liked it, but here's why. Or I disliked it, and here's why. I can't just give a straight answer. I hate this.
This show is so bizarre.
It
Okay,
is like my
but
least
hang on.
favorite film
We
ever.
all agree this is a very, very stupid, weird movie.
No, it's my least favorite. Ever.
But okay, there's a couple things I wanted to go over. First of all, that like I said, the music throughout the movie, sometimes it's like this like weird like synthy organ kind of thing.
yeah,
But the rest of like only just at a
funky.
couple of times, but then the rest of it's like this beautiful orchestral score and stuff. Like it doesn't match at all. Every song is like
And it sounds like Mannheim Steamroller.
it
like
really
it
does.
sounds
Well,
so
but
old
like-
and like,
like ghetto, man.
Christmassy and like
but okay, there's a charm to Mannheim. This is like ghetto version.
Yeah.
That, like they had
Yeah.
like, hey, let's bang some pots and pans together. Okay, it sounded bad.
there were moments that I was like, I honestly don't know if this is still
Okay.
supposed to be music. Like,
Well,
is it
Yeah.
really? Yeah.
The problem with this film is everything it tries to do, it falls flat on its face. If we're talking music, I think when we had the chorus together talking and singing together, it actually sounded pretty good.
Mhm.
Every solo was unimpressive.
I disagree.
Oh.
there was one
We'll
solo
get over- we'll
that-
get over- we'll
yeah,
go over
we'll
that.
go
We'll
over
go
that.
But like and here's the problem. I feel like with this movie, they tried to go for bigger names rather than the perfect cast. And
I do think that there were a couple that were pretty good.
There were two that come to my mind.
We're gonna get there. We got
Okay,
that.
okay.
We're gonna go the whole plot.
the problem is I don't know. I've never watched the musical, so I don't know if the song is actually supposed to be sung that way, and I just don't like the style of it, or if if it's the actor and the director putting it a certain way that I just don't like.
That's exactly what I said. So is it the execution of the musical that's bad, or is it just the musical that's bad? I think it's both.
Yeah.
Honestly, Cats could be the best musical in the world. It could.
It's
be.
not.
But
It's
this
not.
but this movie does not do it any
It's
justice because it's
It is
so bad.
not. It is. I'm looking at you, audience. It is not the best movie in the world.
No, it's not the best musical.
Okay,
I'm just
so-
saying, it doesn't do it. So yeah, the music is really weird. Like
So let's dive right in, because right at the beginning you get exposed to the CGI and the effects of the actual cats. I was disturbed beyond compare.
We all were.
Because-
Dallin texted us within the first couple of minutes.
30
and he was
seconds.
like,
30 seconds in, I'm like, this is disturbing. I'm
I know.
creeped out. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching a horrible horror movie. Like
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
I'm just watching this. The CGI. Let's just face it. Everyone's already said it. The CGI just doesn't look good. It doesn't work.
Yeah. So if
you-
you haven't seen it, just if you haven't seen it, look up some screenshots of the bad CGI. But when we say bad CGI, it's like the faces didn't fit on the bodies, right?
it doesn't feel natural
It
whatsoever.
doesn't,
Like
not at all.
And
And
then
it should-
also, like, sometimes their bodies weren't to scale. Like, they would be
Oh,
different
yeah.
sizes all the time, like, compared to other things. Like, they'd be, like, the size of a fork one time, and then they'd be, like, so small that a ring would fit around their wrist.
They're tap
and,
dancing
like,
on the train tracks, and it's like
Yeah.
this high up to them. I'm like, are these
Yeah.
mice? What is going
yeah,
on?
like, their
so-
sizes were so wrong
Yeah,
the
it's
entire
so
time.
true.
Like, 1 minute to the next,
Yeah,
they were
it's
just
true.
you think
Crazy.
the cats look bad. Wait till you see these kids mice, like, because they chose
Oh,
kid
yeah.
actors to be mice,
seriously,
and they've got
yeah.
these creepy heads with the CGI bodies, but their faces are just like, I'm about to, but apparently the
Yeah.
cats and mice
Yeah.
are all friends. And then the cockroaches come out, and they look even worse.
Oh,
they're tap-
I completely forgot.
they're tap dancing. So like literally, my notes are mice equals gross, and then cockroaches equals WTF, and like those are my notes. Like,
I love that.
so
And every character in this show has faces, like human faces. Not
I think that was the problem. I told Amanda,
unless
you know-
it's like food that they're eating, it has a human face.
I was telling Amanda, no, it's not. It's not like Steamboat Willie, like the sun has
No.
a face.
Yeah,
Amanda, you're
like
gone.
You disappeared for a
So you
second.
disappeared.
sorry.
So this is what I told Amanda. What I wanted, what would have made this movie 1,000 times better is if they made it actual cats. Like if they made it like a
I
CGI
agree.
cartoon,
I agree.
and it was like cartoon CGI cats.
Yeah.
I actually think that could have been awesome. Like the music
But-
is
but
okay and whatever, but like I think that my main problem is I was not able to be absorbed in the movie for
Because I
1
was
second.
like, the whole time I was like, this just literally is a man in a costume.
It looked like
and like,
this, like
Yeah.
but pasted on a cat body.
yeah, literally, except with
Walking on
human
two
legs
legs.
and human
Yeah, it was
hands,
disturbing.
and like it was just so wrong.
The problem with this, you could go back and watch that Godzilla versus King Kong, like old school video where where it's just like the town is just these little blocks of a city, and then you've got a guy in a King Kong costume and a guy in a Godzilla costume. That's more real looking and feeling than this movie is. One of my
This is
notes,
weird.
one of my notes was with the dancing. They had a lot of like interesting dance numbers. Like I'll say this.
No,
like,
I agree. Yeah.
they had interesting dance numbers, and like I just feel bad.
I
for
thought the
everyone.
movement of the dancers and like how they walked around and stuff was like very good
I
for
just
like
I
cat
feel
feeling.
bad for the people that are actually talented that are in this film, because
I know, right?
the CGI detracts. Like there's this guy tap dancing like crazy, and they're like doing all these crazy like cool moves. Like cats wearing shoes for one, but like they like the
Oh yeah, I know
dances were
exactly.
cool.
We actually commented that exactly.
And they're like they're doing this cool stuff, but then it's just like the CGI is so detracting that it doesn't matter how elegant, how cool they look. It doesn't matter that Francesca Hayward, who's the main character,
Mhm.
Victoria the cat, she's a ballet dancer. So I
like
think
she's never been in a movie or anything, right? Like,
yeah,
this is the first
I
time.
heard this was her first role. So congrats to her. But like, no matter how elegant of a ballet dancer that she is, and she really gave it. The CGI is just so detracting that it just doesn't feel.
I think
you
hers looked the
can't watch it.
worst too.
Yeah, it
Hers
just-
was the worst of all.
It was so bad. Her body. So we were discussing this earlier. We said we feel like certain people were assigned to certain like cats.
Yeah.
Because certain ones were like just really good CGI. Well, okay, good
No, like I
within
thought
reason, but,
Grisabella.
like,
I thought Grisabella's CGI like the whole
she was
time
really
looked
she was really well
great.
done. But then there were other times when like who's the main character again? What was her
I
name?
don't even remember her name.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Victoria. There were times when Victoria literally looked like a cardboard cutout with like a face taped onto
Yeah,
it.
it really
Like
did.
it was so bad.
CGI is just bad. It detracts through the whole film. No matter
Yeah.
no matter how impressive the singing could have been, no matter how impressive the dancing could have been, the CGI just detracts completely.
Totally agree.
And let me tell you this thing, okay? Not every cat is in 1000% heat mode and walks like they're going to stalk you to death. Like honestly, I've yet to see a cat walk how they made those actors walk. Like
no, you're right.
Seriously.
if I see a cat walk like that, I'll record it. I'll be like, you're right. You know what? I'm wrong.
On two legs.
But until that day where I see a cat in 1000% sensual, creepy heat
Yeah.
is
No, you're
strolling
right.
through my alleyway, cats don't walk like that.
They turned it up to 10 in the first number, and they
Yeah.
didn't dial it down the whole time.
Yeah.
The first number, the first 20 seconds. That's why I'm like, Cody,
Yeah.
Hey, and here's the problem. Here's the problem with this as well. I had worked all day. I came home. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Whatever. And the first thing I have to do, of course, is watch this movie. So I'm just like sitting there, like in my work clothes. I'm just like, normally when you'd like, I'm gonna relax. I'm watching the worst film possible in a matter of 30 seconds. I watched. I'm like, these things are creeping me out. You know what?
Yeah.
I think Pennywise would have run scared from watching this movie. Like, it's so creepy and abnormal. Like there are cartoons. There's anime. There's all these things where we've seen cartoon characters, animals, etc. What they did with their faces, like you said, sometimes it looks like a cardboard. Like what they did with their faces to those bodies, it just seems so abnormal and wrong. It just doesn't work at all.
I completely agree, and that's obviously like a whole. That's like a whole other like theme throughout the movie. But honestly, like I want to get into details because I'm just.
Let's go.
There's so many things. There's so many things we can talk
Milo
about.
was scared of the cat.
Oh yeah, our son walked in.
And he said, "Scary cat."
He said, "Scary cat."
I'm a grown adult and I was scared. Like,
You know, me too.
All right, so throughout the movie, the musical numbers are not your conventional musical numbers. Like each song introduces a new cat. Like each one.
So that's one thing I noticed with this is like it was super fast paced. Like one thing from another, like you couldn't breathe. And some films like take Captain America Winter Soldier, that's a very fast pace. We're going to throw stuff at you left and right. You don't have time to breathe, but it's entertainment. This is like
not just that, but they give you a chance to understand at least.
This is musical number. Let's introduce one of these cats, and then everyone's super creepy. You have like 2 lines where people are like, "Oh, next cat." That's literally the entire movie. Is introducing, which are the main famous actors.
This movie, actors are you know what this is like?
Got their little scene.
This is like a PowerPoint presentation where each slide is a different musical number, and then it's like, okay, next slide. All right, we have Bustopher Jones.
But instead of having but instead of having any of the fun little edits in between, it's just like, okay, next. Yeah, next. Yeah, next.
And then okay. We have to first of all, let's talk about Rebel Wilson in her number. Just bizarre. The one with the cockroaches. Like what?
And the mice.
I don't even know what to say other than what she's just dancing around. Like most of her humor was just look how fat I am, kind of. Like that's it. That's all. And Bustopher Jones too, but hers especially.
Okay, but I do have one thing to say about Rebel Wilson that was actually kind of a positive, is that I feel like her and what was his name? The other guy that was hilarious and like danced around and ate lobster. What was his name?
Bustopher Jones.
Yeah, I felt like those two characters. James Corden. I feel like those two like did so well that like I wanted to see more of them, and they were like, just kidding. No, you don't get to see them.
You know, this was so bad that I would have preferred if they all had the costumes of the Cat in the Hat from the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat
I was
movie.
actually expecting to see that. Every time the magic cat came out, I was always like, he's going to be wearing a cat in the hat.
We got to talk about McCavity.
Hold on.
Okay, Colin, go ahead. You clearly have.
I was just gonna say the problem with this movie, for one, is it really doesn't play to these actors and actresses' strengths. I think this is a talented cast, even those.
Big time! Every single person,
even those that you aren't as well known, you can tell they put their heart and soul into this, and they're talented. I just feel like the music does not fit well. Like Rebel Wilson, she's got a great voice.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Like
and she's
either
funny.
way.
Her voice didn't work well with this song, whatever. Taylor Swift, love her or hate her, most can generally agree she's got a nice voice. Her song was super weird and didn't fit. Like I loved it.
I thought it was really good.
That's the thing. That's how bad this is she's even a good singer, but the music, it's the style of the music that just didn't fit.
Well, and like it's just voices. the fact that they just have like song after song just introducing new cats. It's just weird. Like that's not how plot goes.
And then James Corden, love him or hate him, he's honestly, I'll just say James Corden's movies are much more misses than they are hits. But like, he's not a singer. You can tell most of his song was just him talking.
He's fine. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with him. It's just not, he's not like an amazing singer, but like, you know.
That's what I'm saying with this is like, you didn't hire, like this is a Broadway musical. Like you go to listen to the music, you're getting actors that may be like great, but they, no matter how good they act, you're not going to see it because of the CGI. And no matter how decent of a singer they are, they're not singers. And so you're not going to hear that with James Corden. Like you're going to get
Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo's a really good singer,
Yeah.
and they made his mouth twice as big as normal for
I
some
know.
reason.
What the heck?
Did you notice that?
Oh yeah, well,
His mouth was like way too big. I
Okay,
don't
but
know
all
why
of
they
the
did that.
proportions
Yeah,
in this
that's
movie
true.
were just
But I
so
noticed
bad.
that specifically.
okay. So Jason, I will say this: Jason sounded the best. Like he sounded the best.
well,
but I felt like his song was over the top and just dragged
yeah.
on. And
Yeah.
on and on. Judi Dench, like she
I don't-
can't sing anymore.
I don't feel like she has to. Some people, I'm like, you know what?
But that's the problem though, is they made her sing, and like for some strange reason, they felt like during the musical they had to like show shots of every character just like singing or like or an expression, just like every
I would not be
character.
surprised. I would not be surprised if the director of this had never done a movie before. If they were like,
Yeah,
if they had
that sounds
only
about
done
right.
stage shows, because the impression I got the whole time was this would look really impressive on a stage, but it just
not-
doesn't work. There were all these big wide shots of like a whole big room with like some people dancing like this small down in the. I'm like, that doesn't look good. Like you
Yeah.
can't see, like there could be some really impressive, cool stuff if it's close up. They could have used CGI to do big stuff that you can't do on stage, but they didn't use any of that. They just were like, okay, we have to move on because
Okay, my
there's
last
so much to go over.
Okay, but my last thing with music though, I have to say one more thing with music. Memory is the best song
Easily.
in
Yeah,
Cats.
we both decided that too.
Memory, well, not for this movie. Memory is the best song in Cats, period.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Jennifer Hudson's got a gorgeous voice. However, the song was ruined because 90% of her singing was her mumbling and crying. And I get it's the situation. I get it's the character.
I actually completely disagree on this. I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
But I wanted to hear the song. Like, there's literally only one point in Memory where she belts it and gives it to you. That it's like, oh, but other than that, like,
I felt like that made up for it though, because I think in the first part you kind of want her to do that. And
no,
she
it doesn't because she's got snot.
She literally did have like snot.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't. Like I was.
You can hear like.
And that's the problem. I feel like Jennifer Hudson was like giving her freaking all. But I couldn't pay any attention to any song because she literally was just got his snot down her nose the entire time.
Yeah.
Like point A to point Z with Jennifer Hudson's Grisabella. Snot. That's all I got.
But I think she was I honestly think she was the best actor in the whole thing.
I agree.
She was. I wanted to hear the beauty of what makes Memory great. Like this is the thing. It's a musical, and so it's half acting, half singing, right? You got to have that nice mix.
Yeah.
You have to have that nice blend. The problem is with Memory being such a passionate, beautiful song, I wanted to hear more of that. I'm fine with the crying because that's her character. Like that's her character. She's just full of sorrow, despair. I wanted more music from like I felt like
I know what you mean.
I feel like there's just too much of the
take away the snot and I would have been fine with because I think at the end like it makes the endings that much more powerful to me because it's like you're waiting for it.
No, because every time Grisabella was on screen you had like 8 cats just
you did your
It's true.
Okay, we need to start talking about Macavity. Okay, there is so much to go over here.
I have something to say about Macavity.
I'm going to say something first. Why the heck does he have magical powers? Did they say?
Yeah. Why?
It was apparently your favorite Taylor Swift song. She sang about it. Okay?
I was like laser focused.
Yeah, we were listening, and it was like so hard to understand why.
She had a whole song about him and didn't go, oh, by the way, he has magic power. He can Thanos snap away any cat that he wants.
Seriously, what the heck?
Like, what is happening? Like, did you catch why he has powers?
Also, he literally looked just like the wolf from Into the Woods with a cat face. That was he looked exactly like that.
He kind of did, yeah.
The thing about that was it was Taylor Swift singing like what stuff he does because he has magical powers, but she never explains how he has magical powers
or why. Like, what did he do that was different? And is he a magician too?
I guess the only thing is like because like we've got this cat that does this and this cat that does this. I guess there's just unique cats, but like he's
a cat from the dark side.
But the thing is though, he just seems to be like what makes him so special that he's just got cooler things than any
teleport.
Other. This cat can freaking. Cat. Okay, this cat can tap dance on a railroad. Cool, but you can snap Thanos snap anyone. Like I feel like
I know.
Yeah, what the heck?
So the god of this world wasn't very fair. So.
This is really like an audition for who gets to die. Like each song
Is
is
that
like
what it was?
each song is like, look at me, I'm Rebel Wilson, please let me die. And she's like, no. And then McCavity's like, I want to die.
Yeah.
I have magic powers. And she's like, no. And then she's like, oh, you're really sad. You should probably be the one to die.
Seriously, what the heck?
That's the impression I got from this whole thing. It's just okay. Hang on. We are like jumping all over the place. You got to follow the plot. So basically, at this point,
you want to know why, Cody? Because we make just as much sense as this movie did.
It's true. This is a very hard plot to follow, even if you're really paying attention. It goes over a lot of information in songs, which is never a good idea unless it's very obvious. Because you just can't follow it very well.
And then you've got people like McCavity, who clearly he's a fantastic actor, but he's not a singer either. Where it's just like, it just takes away so much.
Ian McKellen.
It just takes so much from the good glimpses of music that is there when you've got like the main actors doing their solos and they're just like talking and they can't sing.
Ian McKellen. Yeah, exactly. So, Ian McKellen is amazing. He's like amazing in everything he's in. Uh-huh. And he was fine in this. It's just like, he's not a singer. So it's,
oh yeah, I was just like, Ian, did you have nothing better to do? Like, honestly, with your
I feel like a lot of these
Taylor
actors
Swift
actually felt like that too.
She
like
should have definitely had more time. She has more time on her hands than she has. If she did this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like everyone who's a part of this movie should be embarrassed. Like, watching this movie, they should just be embarrassed.
They probably are.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would be, unless I was Jennifer Hudson, because I feel like nothing she did was her fault. She did everything as well as she could have done, Okay, so at one point I didn't really understand why he was making the cats disappear. They didn't really make it clear that he wanted to be the chosen Jellicle cat.
I still didn't know that, like, till this moment. Well, I know he wanted to be like taking
he was taking all the contenders and he was making them disappear like Thanos.
With the second cat, like, because the first cat by Rebel Wilson, he made her disappear, and we're kind of like, wait, what? And then like the second cat, when you end up going, was it?
It was Jason Derulo.
It was James Corden. It was James Corden. When he took Bustopher away, and then he's like, all right, getting rid of all the contestants. So he said that.
Oh, he did say it? I didn't even hear that. It's just, there's a lot.
But, well, here's my problem with that plot. It's just like, dude, no one likes you. You know that. You're clearly a villain. You think this idea is really going to work. You're going to kidnap everyone.
Well,
and then
everyone else is gone.
And then go to Judi Dench's character and be like, hey, old lady, everyone else is gone. I'm sure
you got me. You got me, McCavity.
But hey, you might as well. Like this has got to be the dumbest villain plot ever.
What I did get from this was this show reminded me of every weird theater person I've ever known in my whole life.
I know, like all of the stinky kids that okay, I know this is going to sound like real weird, but when we did Into the Woods, and I have like distinct memories of the exact same things. I played the cow. Okay, but then I went up from there. Like I played the cow. Then I played Grandmother's Idol. Then I played
Amanda.
Then I played Amneris. Then I played.
It's hard to
Charlie
go down
from Charlie the Chocolate
Listen
Factory.
to me. It's hard to go down from playing a part that's usually a prop. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, but we also had like woodland fairies in it, and like
that's normal.
A troll. No, it's
adding
not
other
for
parts.
Into the Woods.
No, of course, in high school, adding other parts and stuff. Of course,
Amanda, a step down from being cow is being called not casted. That's literally how far down the tree.
I know it was bad. Also, we had like bruises on our knees and they made us crawl around on our knees. It was stupid.
Amazing.
Anyway, so this is what this whole show reminded me
of. Now that's a movie I want to see. Turn that into a movie.
I want to see Into the Woods where Milky White is played by Elijah Wood. I don't know why.
You're late.
Okay, back to cats, not Into the Woods.
Please never. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight about
this whole show. Reminded me of like when you're in theater and there's a whole bunch of stinky kids running around without their shoes on and stuff, and then like the dressing room gets like this grimy foot smell, and like there's glitter everywhere.
There's something different about performance sweat when you're on stage.
Oh man,
it's different.
Bad. It is so bad. That's what this whole show
It
reminded
really
me
did.
of.
Yeah, the weird kids that were just like,
And like I could just smell like the smells.
yeah, I agree. Okay,
That's-
so
that's
at
the
this
face I
point,
mean.
in the story, we hit
What point I don't know
the
what we're-
Jellicle Ball, which is essentially what, like, just like a
bunch
party.
of cats getting together and
It was
doing
it was
stuff.
definitely a little too, like, physically. There's something going on there. You're
Yeah.
right. They were all, every cat in this movie is
Well,
in
especially
They
when
were very charged.
well, especially when Taylor Swift came down and her magically inducing
Oh,
moon.
catnip. She
So
had
they
the
were throwing-
catnip.
They were throwing
Oh,
catnip
yeah.
at everybody, and everyone's just like, and like their tails were just like,
And then, like, why'd they choose to make the catnip like glowing snowflakes? Like,
Yeah.
I
they're
guess-
like, you could tell who had it because this is this big thing in their
It's like this
forehead.
giant glob on their face.
Yeah, I know, and like it was right there. And so, honestly, what probably happened is the director gets out there. He's like, "All right, everybody, we're gonna start throwing glitter around. When you get glitter on you, act like you're in heat and action."
Yeah.
Oh, anytime. Oh, speaking of the freaking applause when Ian McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
This is like,
They're like,
What the heck?
they're like,
Yeah, and they were like going like this on the
This-
ground.
like, I literally was disturbed. I was disturbed. And
Seriously.
anytime in the musicals, sorry, I know it's just there's so much crap to this show. And anytime the ensemble was singing and chant, I feel like I was watching a really scary cult movie.
we said the exact thing. Like when they were in the circle around the little,
like they were around that like star painted on the ground or whatever.
and they were
I'm like,
bringing. We didn't know anything about Deuteronomy yet, and they just
Yeah.
bring her to the middle of the thing. I'm like, are they gonna kill her?
I know, we literally were
Yep.
like, is this like a really dark show?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like chanting Coltville, and then the creepy applause.
So above all, first of all, I couldn't get past the fact that we didn't know why McCavity had powers. I was like, this is clearly a key plot point that I missed. There's a cat with magic powers. Clearly, I missed something
Mhm.
because we should know why a dang cat has magic
Yeah,
powers.
and somehow an old wise cat is choosing someone for something, but we don't know
No,
what
I got
it is.
that. I understood that much,
I had no idea.
but I could not for
Oh,
the
I-
life of me figure this out.
I just couldn't get over the fact that Judi Dench had nothing better to do, so she decided to walk around, be feeble, and attempt to sing for 8 times. So
Yeah,
Okay, also, like, I couldn't understand half the lyrics in this show.
that was the other problem with this, is that, like, even the people that you would think would sing the best,
And
like
would
their singers,
pronunciate and
Jason
stuff.
Derulo, no clue a single word he said. I tried really hard to pay
well, yeah,
attention.
because at the
Same.
time it was just
I was always like,
Yeah, and then
like,
you had-
and the
and
thing
then
trying to listen.
and then you had all the female cats going.
I know. This
we
is
were
like
trying
all movie.
so hard to listen too, and we were like,
Because
what is
there's almost
happening?
no. You realize there's almost no dialogue in this, right? Like
Yeah, that's
almost
what-
all of
that's
it,
how-
like 80+% is all
that's
music.
that's how fast paced this movie is.
Yeah, it's
literally
hard to follow,
song-
man.
It's song, introduce cat who's going to be a potential candidate for this thing. 2 lines, sets up next scene. Next cat does its thing. Like literally, that's the entire film until the very end. That's literally
Okay,
the entire thing.
so they had the Jellicle Ball where they all danced. They had some cool dance choreography. Sure, that was fine. They had those 2 cool cats that were
That's what I'm saying. Doesn't matter how,
sneakers.
doesn't matter how cool those sneakers cats were. The fact that like, because every time you were distracted by them trying to make their tails look like it was a part of their
Yeah.
body, and it just
I did comment though. I thought the ears they did a really good job on for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that they were really subtle when someone would do something like that and their ears would perk up, or they would be like, you know what I mean? Like, or like someone would make a sound behind them and their ear would turn before they would. Like I thought it was kind of cool that they did that.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's a really small detail to do a good job on. It's probably some guy named Jonathan that's like, I'm gonna make the ears really good.
and then everything else was like crap.
Yeah.
We can only
Um,
afford to pay Jonathan so much. He's only doing the ears. That's literally.
He's like he's like, oh, we really gotta pay. We
I
gotta
think
get our money's
Robert-
worth.
I think Robert Fairchild did an okay job. He actually did a good.
Who's
balance
Robert
of-
Fairchild?
He was like that one in the beginning.
The narrator guy?
It was kind of the one that was just like helping introduce guide Victoria along. I felt like he was consistent.
He's good.
Like he was consistent enough between acting and singing. Like it wasn't like his singing was better and his acting was.
He was solidly in the middle. Like
Yeah.
definitely wasn't one of the worst, but definitely wasn't like the very best.
I feel like he was just like balanced well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because like most of my problem with like the musicals with the solos was it's either Ian McKellen singing, talking, and then you've got Judy Dench, and then you got James Corden.
It's like Gandalf cat, like literally, not just because he's Gandalf. He said it in Gandalf voice too.
Yeah, and then they were like, James Corden, you're a fat cat. Pretend you're having your late night show. And so James Corden's just my late night show, but a fat cat.
I actually literally wrote down, "Ha ha, funny fat."
No, not only that. The only time they had written dialogue to try and introduce a joke was a very forced cat line that was just
was that Rebel Wilson?
Oh, well, hers was one of them. Like, cat got your tongue, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, I remember that line so specifically too. I was like, that is such an odd place to place that. Like,
there's almost no dialogue. There's almost no dialogue. So anything this is one of the problems with doing musicals is that you have fixed dialogue. So if you do a representation of a book or something, like if you do Harry Potter, you can change the dialogue, you can move stuff around, you can move the plot. You can't do that with a musical because it's all fixed and it's all you have to keep it all the same. And this is even worse because it's so much of the dialogue is not even dialogue, it's music. So I kind of had to keep it exactly the same.
But it's all about execution, because think about Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom has 2 scenes with lines. Like 2 scenes with lines.
That's a really good point. And honestly, like think of the 2005 movie, the Phantom of the Opera. It's really, really well done.
Freaking love it. He's got 2 scenes where he says lines like of a few words, and it's just like it's all about the execution and the tone.
Then what's wrong? Is it just because they're cat people?
It just felt super forced.
It's still Andrew Lloyd Webber. Like I don't know. He's doing plot exposition through song.
But Andrew Lloyd Webber didn't say let's do like weird orchestra here, weird funky.
That's true.
Children's pot and pans here. Like
that was very odd.
He didn't come and say that. Because believe it or not, Cats is a successful musical. It
is, and I don't understand why.
I know, right? Like,
but that's the thing. If you watch this on Broadway, I can understand Broadway where they've got like just these cat costumes, like a cat costume, and then you like let them sing because they're singers, let them dance because they're dancers.
Yeah,
sing
I agree.
That. I try a few moments. I closed my eyes trying to be like, don't look at the CGI cats. Just listen to the music.
Like, what would this be like on stage?
Yeah, what would this be like on stage? Listening to just the music. Like I said, I was disappointed pretty much with all the music here, but I was like, I can see the style being fun and the dancing unique and fun on the stage. But for here, like I said, they casted bigger names rather than people that would have nailed the singing and the dancing themselves. So
all right, we got to wrap up here with. We have a couple more things that we can go.
Yeah,
over.
sorry.
It's
guys.
good. It's
just
good.
Cats. There's so much crap to Cats.
Okay, so a couple things I wanted to bring up. So basically, just over the plot. Just if you didn't watch it. So basically, they have the Jellicle Ball. A couple more people audition. There's a train cat, I guess.
Yeah, he tap dances.
Tap dances.
A railroad cat.
There's Ian McKellen, who's an actor cat. Where's he acting? Is there cat theater?
He's got palsy. Ian McKellen.
It was weird. And then there's a magician that is like a sleight of hand magician. He's not like a real magician. And then Thanos cat comes and he snaps everyone away and he goes, hey, I should win the thing right now. And she goes, I'm not doing that. And he's like, well, I'm going to take you away.
Snap you then.
And so then you go to this boat thing, I guess, where
he's hiding all the cats that he snapped.
Yeah. And the thing that I was confused about there was like then he just left. And I was like, what's your plan, man? Like the whole point of this is to get you to the magic world away from here.
And his right henchman was a dirty old cat called Growl Tiger.
That's right.
His both scenes were just him going
It's
like
so
literally,
true.
I feel like when you came to audition for this movie, it wasn't like, hey, what's your backstory? Hey, what's your talents? Can you sing? Can you dance? All this stuff is like, all right, growl for me, meow for me, and then freaking act like you're in heat. Like I feel
Growl
like
Tiger. That is our Growl Tiger.
I feel like that's how people audition for this. All right, act like you're
they
in
asked
heat.
for the worst people to come in and do it for them, and they were like,
okay.
"You're hired."
Okay,
No, but like I really think the cast list looks like they just went, let's find the best possible names and then
Yeah.
just see how they do.
it's all about flashing, like selling the audience with the actors' names. Like, oh,
Yeah. It
James
worked.
Corden,
I mean,
Jennifer
we're watching
Hudson.
it.
There's Taylor. We're watching this because of you, Cody. Never in heck would I have rented this.
It's true.
Taylor Swift's in this. Oh my gosh, so and so, Judi Dench, Ian McKellen. Like,
Yeah. Jason
big
Derulo.
Rebel
Yeah. I mean, it's
Wilson,
crazy.
like you think about it, like big names, but like a lot of other. I won't go into like Disney live action properties, but I feel like they cast a big name rather than like someone that would have nailed it.
Absolutely.
As like,
Mhm.
because this
Yeah.
is a musical. You hire someone who can do musical theater.
Yeah. And the voice of Victoria, just not great.
So
Yeah.
Victoria, she's like clearly she's a professional ballet dancer. Like she's well
Yeah.
known for that.
Amazing.
This is
She
her
was
first
her dancing was, I
thought-
particularly looked out for it because of
I
that.
thought her acting was fine. Literally, the whole scene was like act constipated and
Here, look,
surprised.
no, this is her the whole time.
But like her voice
And her face is like tilted the wrong angle.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
and
No,
it
but
like
yeah, but
floated
her-
over her body
Yeah.
a
But
couple
her voice-
times.
You could tell she's not like a professional singer.
Right.
She's like, no, she's okay. Like, but at least
Yeah.
they found someone that at least had somewhat of a voice and not like.
And she
forced.
sold it well. I think
Yeah.
even if you can't be the best singer, like
she did what she could.
I
rather-
think Ian McKellen as well. Like he's not the greatest singer, but I think he did a good performance of it, and I think it just worked that way.
I don't even want to call any of that singing. A lot of it's just like I'm Gandalf with Posey. Honestly, I think his CGI looked like the worst. I
didn't think his was bad at all.
I was terrified.
I thought
I was-
Victoria's was by far the worst.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is we got to wrap up here. So the plot ends by Grisabella, the cat Jennifer Hudson singing "Memory."
With Growl Tiger on the boat. Yeah, they're all on the So they were all on the boat, right? The Thanos snap onto the boat, and then they're like, "What are we gonna do? How do we find her?"
And then the magician dude, like,
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, Victoria was like, "We can do magic," and everyone's like,
And he's like, I really can't.
and she's like,
I'm not.
but we do have magic.
And they sang that line about the man. They sang that line like 100 times.
it got so annoying.
I
We
can't-
were both sitting there like, when is this gonna end?
How many times?
So the whole plot, the whole plot of that situation was encouraging this magician, gimmicks, pull
Yeah.
this out of a hat.
But no,
kind of
you
guy,
have real magic.
to have the confidence, like you can bring this Judi Dench woman back, like bring this old cat who literally just sits there and stares at people the whole movie back. You could bring her back.
She has this weird
But-
move where she sticks her leg up. Did you notice that?
Yeah, like randomly, and that's like around the time when her face starts floating above
Yeah,
her body, and
yeah.
her leg just goes like this.
You
It's
know,
like,
what's bad is that like the CGI,
Right
the CGI was even worse at one point. Like this is like they cleaned up the CGI.
Yeah, I wish I
So
could see that.
apparently
So-
someone went through and like took care of all of the buttholes.
Yeah, there was a guy who was in charge of the butthole. Hashtag release the butthole cut.
Didn't stop from having Rebel Wilson's awkward stance where she's just like,
That made
I
me-
know.
we can't even see your legs because of the background. Oh, okay, we got it. Okay,
look, this is just
so there. Oh my gosh, we could talk about this movie for
so
comfortably five
so literally
hours.
like that 5-minute song of him failing,
Yeah,
trying again, failing, trying
way
again.
too long,
Way
obviously.
too long.
But
And then
So
eventually,
long.
bam,
They
and then
did it,
she's-
yeah.
She's just like, Judi Dench just tried to sing in the background. You did it, the most magnificent, wonderful something.
and you
I
go,
was like,
he deserves. She's like, oh, it's like Dumbledore when he's like, Slytherin won the House Cup, and then he's like, just kidding, it's Gryffindor. It's just Gryffindor. Then Grisabella walks in and sings one verse of a song, and she goes, "It's you, it's
Yeah.
you."
and guess what?
You get
She
to
had-
go to
she
cat
had-
heaven.
Is that what it freaking is?
I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
But it didn't matter because guess what? Grisabella still had snot in that scene as well.
Man, that girl really, really knows how to like get the waterworks.
She is a
flowing.
dang good singer. That was the only thing I could think during that.
That's
And
my
I excused the snot because of it.
Cody, that's my
Because that was
problem.
not her fault.
That's my problem with that. Is
It
she
was
is
her
su-
noses.
she- that's what I'm saying. She is such an amazing singer that I wanted to hear that. I didn't want to hear in the wind. It gets to
She gave us a little taste, but not enough.
And then there's one scene where she's like, "Mommy." I was like, oh, good tingles for once. And then it was gone.
And then it was gone. Yeah.
Okay, so then she sings her amazing the amazing chorus of Memory.
Yeah.
Gets lifted up by a hot air balloon that came out of
Flashy
nowhere
lights, flashy
with
lights,
flashy
yeah.
lights in a chandelier. She gets transported into space, and
Oh, no.
then McCavity gives one more shot
Yeah,
to
he
be
jumped-
on the balloon.
There's
And he's
a rope.
naked suddenly. Like
he got-
all of
he
his
got-
clothes just disappeared.
No, that was during McCavity. Taylor
Yeah,
Swift took his clothes off.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Did you
didn't
not
know.
notice that?
Come on.
Clearly, you didn't know.
Clearly you didn't notice Taylor Swift's song. That
Oh yeah,
song
because
was
of cat abs.
Yeah. Oh, that was a whole other thing.
So yeah, he claps on. He's like, ha ha ha, suckers! And then and then for some strange reason he just loses his grip just like that, and he's like, oh, and he falls
And then
on top of
somehow
the
his
balloon.
magic is just gone.
Yeah, they never explain why his magic is gone either. They don't explain why it's there.
He
They
goes-
don't explain why it's gone. He's like,
Probably because Deuteronomy.
"What?"
Probably because Deuteronomy already gave her blessing, and so you can't touch that. Like, you're going to heaven, you can't touch that.
Can't touch
I
this.
guess. Okay, and then of course the weirdest part in the whole movie was Judi Dench going, "Now, what did we learn about cats today? What are the rules?
Yeah, what the
What are the
heck?
cat rules?"
It's not dogs.
We aren't dogs.
And then she goes, "And you can talk to them, but make sure they let you talk first." And it was just very.
It was
And then-
so
and then-
weird.
And then you greet them by "Hello, cat." like- Like literally, it
What
was
the heck?
it was Judi Dench looking into the camera for 4 minutes talking about
it was
and then,
more.
and then the ensemble were like, yes, we are not
Yes,
dogs.
we
are
agree. We agree with Judi Dench. It was
we are
like
not
that.
cats. I mean, we are not dogs. We are cats. And like literally, that lasted for like this movie should have been over like a half hour ago. And
Yeah.
we're sitting there like audience members.
What are the rules? It was like Dora the Explorer.
I was having such a hard time getting through the last couple of minutes.
I know, I
was
totally
like,
agree.
oh, can this just be over?
And then we
Couldn't
get
get through
first.
the last couple of minutes. I struggled that entire film like constantly. I kept checking
Hey,
to see how much.
The
how
whole
much,
film was terrible.
No,
Don't
I-
get me wrong.
like literally,
just the
whole-
last few were like extra
I
hard.
agree with you. Dylan.
Literally, the whole time I kept looking like, how much time is left? Over an hour. Oh my gosh.
How is that possible? Yeah. And then for some reason, we get one more shot of the hot air balloon, and it's just disappearing into the clouds. I guess that
Oh,
means
before
she's
it
dead.
glitters, it like gleams in the sunlight, and then it
gleams,
just
yeah.
disappears.
And everyone's supposed to be like, isn't that a happy ending? It's like, what the freak was that
I don't
ending?
even know what that. It's like the ending of Grease, where it's
and then
like,
the
what
cat
just
died
happened? Did they
because
just
it
drive
got
into
stuck
space?
in there.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
and then the sun comes up, and then all the cats scurry away, and it's like, all right, apparently there are no humans out and about at nighttime. They all just go to bed.
There was exactly one human, I think, that threw the cat bag into the square. in the
Apparently,
beginning, and that was it.
COVID-19 is happening in this world too, because no
Ooh.
one is out and about.
That literally makes the most sense of it, because cats can get it too. Maybe they're all having fever dreams. That makes the most sense of anything so far.
I literally felt like I was gonna wake up in the middle of this movie and be like, "That is the weirdest dream
Easily
I've
the
ever
closest,
had."
easing the closest I've ever felt to being
Well,
high was watching
yeah.
this movie.
That and also never give catnip unless you want them to freaking like do some weird funky dances around your lap or something.
Okay, so that's the plot. If you didn't watch it, you missed out. Not. I wanted to read.
Worst film I've ever seen.
I wanted to read my
Yeah,
favorite
by far.
review on IMDb. 1 star, and it said the title is "Combating Online Piracy." It says Hollywood's new way of combating online piracy: make movies no one wants to watch. Yeah, it was real bad. So my vote for the best actor in this, definitely Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
Best singer, definitely Jennifer Hudson. Best musical number, definitely Memory. Like it was no
It was
question.
all Jennifer Hudson. Like literally,
Yeah.
I feel like
close second Taylor Swift, by the way. I actually thought her song was really well done.
although her accent in it was kind of terrible.
think
It
it's
was like
bad.
in and out.
The problem with hers was it was too safe. Taylor Swift can actually sing. She's not great live, but she can actually sing. Her
Hey, you
song
know
was-
what? You know
her song
what?
was- her song
She can
was too
take your
safe.
feedback and she can shake it off. Okay.
Oh,
Haters
what?
gonna hate.
You know what? This is probably the role she wanted to get in her wildest
Okay,
dreams.
if you want to have a podcast about Taylor Swift, we'll talk. I'll tell you how much I hate her for 2 hours straight. But like, she's in this movie for literally probably 3 minutes of screen time. So, anyways, we can move on.
Hey, Dallin, you need to calm down.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is why this is going
Dallin,
to
you're
be.
being too loud.
These,
You know,
we've just been doing Taylor Swift titles. I don't know if you realize that. Style.
Stop.
So yeah, this overall, this isn't even a movie that you can enjoy because it's bad. Like, it's just not good. Like, it's
so
hard to
painful
follow.
watch. Like,
the cinematography is not made for stage. Like, I've seen really well done. Like, Into the Woods, the movie version, even though
That
it's a
was so
stage
well
musical,
done,
it's really, like, they still treat it like a musical. Like, they don't do anything you couldn't do on stage, but they filmed it so much better, and the cinematography just made more sense and stuff like that.
This audience reviewer gave it a half a star and said it's far more enjoyable watching a cat lick its butt, essentially, none of whom even attempt self-indulgent grooming here.
I mean, like, I think honestly the worst part was the CGI and like the design of the characters. I think if they'd done a better job on that, if they had done more practical effects, maybe, I think it might have been a little better, but not much.
They didn't even do the laser joke. Like, they didn't have once a laser on the ground and cats chasing.
Oh, that would have been a slam dunk. You're right. That's so obvious.
Are you kidding me? That's like the only.
Or like internet cats. That would have been an easy one.
That's the only reason to have a cat. I hate cats to begin. Here, let's just say it. I don't like cats to begin with. I'm a dog guy. Cats suck anyways. And now I really hate cats.
Yeah, I hate cats 2019.
And the one dog, I'm so glad they didn't do this. The one dog in the whole thing, thankfully, was just background noise. They didn't give us a dog with like a human face.
we literally were like, oh my gosh, what if there's a human face on this dog?
I really wanted there to be like a golden retriever with just like Bill Hader's face. Like, hey. Like, that would have been amazing.
Because the freaking mice that are children.
I know.
Every animal.
And the cockroaches.
What if it's like an alternate universe where the humans have cat faces?
I hate this movie, guys. I hate this movie.
Yeah, honestly, don't watch it. If you haven't watched it already, lucky you. You just got the good parts from us.
And it was definitely a skip-worthy piece of cinema.
It was 100%.
There are movies that are bad. Like, you can think of a film like a Ben Tremors or a Dumb and Dumber. Like, yeah, it's kind of a goofy, dumb, bad movie. Like,
but it's meant to be like that, though.
But it knows what it is, and it does right what it is. This is just bad.
It
was like $6 for the really high def version.
Yeah, I had to rent it in 4K, so I had to have more pixels into my nightmares now.
Oh,
so thanks for that.
I'm traumatized for this. Like, it's just, guys, Cats is just like when there are reviewers and people that are like, hey, this is just a bad film. Like, sometimes people like blow things out of proportion. They just dislike something so much that they'll tell you.
Yeah, you're not blowing it out of proportion when you say it's the worst movie ever.
This is bad. It's a combination, though, I think, of the source material and then even worse execution of the source material. Because it's not a particularly great musical to begin with, but then you add the bad execution, and
Well, guess what? I'm never going to watch this musical now. This movie is really
you don't have to, because that was basically it. So anyway, this has been Skip Worthy Cinema. So you can go ahead and find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we're at SideQuest Vids on there.
SideQuest Vids.
Or check out, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and check out the audio version of this podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts.
If you want to listen to it again.
If you want to listen to it again. Or if you have a
mom.
Everyone has a mom talent. If you want to...
Really, none of these cats did.
Oh, that's true. That's sad. If you want to watch the video version of this and see our crazy cat backgrounds, you can go to YouTube and just search for SideQuest Guys. You'll find us there. And stay tuned. We're going to announce the next movie soon. And it's going to be this one. The next one, I think, will be a lot more enjoyable than this one, just because it's a different kind of bad.
I think we've gotten the worst one out of the way. Like, this is just a bad film. I'm sure that most of the films that we're going to be doing are like bad, but there's still some enjoyment to be had in.
There's so many more to come.
Oh yeah, this is going to be great. Amanda, thanks so much for joining us. This was fun.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you.
It's your guys' bedtime.
Yeah, we recorded this really late because we couldn't get our dang baby to bed. But
Who's now going to have nightmares about scary cats?
I'm not
I
kidding. He
know,
literally
I
he
feel
walked
so
in the room
bad.
while we were watching it, and he just goes, "Scary cat."
No, your son knows like 5 words at the top of his head, and now 2 of them are scary cats. So
It makes me so sad.
It's fine. It's hilarious. I love it.
He sees things like this. Like one time he saw a picture of Elsa with like creepy eyes.
Like a thumbnail on YouTube.
But like he only saw it once ever, and now he goes, "Scary Elsa, scary
iPad."
Elsa iPad," and we're like,
He
"You
still
only
does
saw
it. That
for
was like
2
a month
seconds."
ago. Yeah.
well, at least you're prepping your son for the scares of the world.
Oh, it makes me so sad.
Hey, nothing
Our
will be as
poor
scary
baby
as this.
boy. Anyway,
No,
let's wrap it up.
This is the scariest. This is the scariest film I've ever seen. I'll leave it at that.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching and or listening. See you next time.
Please don't waste any money on this film.
We spent enough already tonight. Trust me.
Yeah, we've got you covered.